Hey there! Welcome back to English with Tuna. Today's topic is a big one, and it's something we hear all the time. Why am I still not good at English, even though I've been learning for years?
Exactly. So many learners say things like, I've tried everything. I go to class, I watch videos, I even follow English pages on social media, but I'm still not improving.
And the truth is, they're not alone.
Yeah, it's actually super common. Most people don't fail because they're lazy or not smart enough. They fail because they make small mistakes that grow over time, and they don't even realize it.
That's why today we're going to talk about 7 common mistakes English learners make, and most importantly, we're going to share how to avoid them. If you fix just a few of these, you'll start seeing progress faster than you think.
Totally. And before we dive in, let's be real. We've made these mistakes too. When I was learning French, I made almost all of them. I thought memorizing long grammar lists would help me speak fluently. Spoiler, it didn't.
Same here. I remember trying to watch full TV shows in Spanish with 0 subtitles, hoping it would magically improve my listening. But all it did was frustrate me. I didn't understand anything, and I gave up for months.
So today's episode is not about blaming you. It's about helping you notice what's not working and giving you some simple ways to fix it.
Right, because once you fix the real problems, learning becomes easier and way more fun. You'll stop feeling stuck, you'll stop feeling like you're wasting time, and you'll finally feel like your English is moving forward.
Also, it's important to remember, making mistakes is part of the learning process. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stay open and willing to improve.
So let's break this down. In the next few sections, we're going to talk about these 7 mistakes. 1, studying too much grammar and not practicing enough. 2, being afraid of making mistakes. 3, not being consistent. 4, learning passively. 5, using the wrong learning tools. 6, not building an English environment. 7, having unrealistic expectations.
We'll take each one, talk about why it happens, give examples, and share what you can do instead. And of course, it'll all be in natural English, just like you're listening to 2 friends talk.
So even this podcast is good listening practice.
And if you're listening right now and thinking, oh no, I've made all of these mistakes, don't worry. That actually means you're about to grow. Recognizing the problem is the first step to solving it.
Exactly. So make sure to listen to the whole series. If you take just one idea from today and start applying it, you'll be ahead of most learners.
All right, are you ready to dive into mistake number 1?
Let's do it. And spoiler alert, it's something we see everywhere in schools and textbooks.
Let's start with the first big mistake that stops so many learners from making real progress. Okay, let's jump right into mistake number 1, studying too much grammar and not practicing enough.
Oh yes, this is so common. A lot of learners think that if they just learn more grammar rules, they'll suddenly be able to speak English fluently.
Right, but learning rules is not the same as using the language. It's like reading a book about swimming. You might understand the techniques, but unless you get in the water, you won't be able to swim.
Exactly. You could memorize 100 grammar rules and still freeze when someone asks you, "How's your day going?" Because conversation is about real-time thinking, not just remembering rules.
So why do people focus so much on grammar?
I think it's because grammar feels safe. It's structured, you can take notes, you can highlight things. But speaking, that's scary. It's messy, you make mistakes. And that brings us to mistake number 2. Being afraid of making mistakes.
Yes, this fear holds so many people back. They know the words, they understand the question, but they stay silent because they're afraid of sounding wrong or stupid.
Here's the thing. Everyone makes mistakes. Even native speakers mess up sometimes. Mistakes are how we learn. Think about how children learn their first language. They say all kinds of funny, incorrect things, but people still understand them. And they get better with time.
Absolutely. I used to be afraid to speak Spanish in front of native speakers. But when I finally started trying, they didn't laugh at me. They helped me. Most people are actually impressed that you're trying.
And here's the funny part. The more you speak and make mistakes, the faster you improve. Your brain starts noticing what sounds right and what doesn't. You build confidence.
So, what can learners do to stop being afraid?
I always tell my students, speak badly, but speak anyway. Don't wait to be perfect. Just start small. Say a few sentences every day, even if it's just talking to yourself.
I like that. And another tip is find a safe space to practice. Maybe it's a friend, a tutor, or even a language app with voice feedback. Somewhere you can try without feeling judged.
Yeah, and remember, you don't need to speak fast or perfectly, just clearly. Most people will understand you if you speak slowly and simply.
So, to recap, mistake 1 is thinking grammar alone will make you fluent. It won't. You need to practice. Mistake 2 is being afraid to make mistakes, and that fear keeps you silent, which stops progress.
And once you shift your mindset, less perfect, more practice, your English will start to grow naturally. You'll enjoy the process more too.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm ready to practice more and worry less about mistakes, but how do I stay consistent? Well, that brings us to something even more dangerous than fear. It's the habit of giving up too soon.
Coming up next, we'll talk about mistakes 3 and 4 and how inconsistency and passive learning can secretly stop you from improving, even if you think you're working hard. Stay with us. So let's move on to mistake number 3, not being consistent.
This one is huge. A lot of learners start strong, they're excited, they study every day for a week, and then they stop.
Yeah, they wait for motivation to come back, but it doesn't. And soon a week becomes a month, and then they feel guilty, so they give up.
The truth is, learning English is a lot like going to the gym. You don't need to do 2 hours a day, but you do need to show up often, even just for 10 or 15 minutes.
Exactly. Consistency beats intensity. It's better to study 15 minutes a day for a month than 2 hours once a week. Your brain remembers more with regular, short practice.
I remember one student told me, I only study when I feel motivated. And I said, that's like only brushing your teeth when you feel inspired. Motivation is nice, but habits are what really make the difference.
Totally. So if you want to build consistency, keep your goals realistic. Don't say, I'm going to finish a whole textbook this week. Just say, I'll watch one 5-minute English video each day. That's manageable.
And don't wait for the perfect time. If you're busy, that's fine. Use your lunch break, your commute, or even 5 minutes before bed. It all adds up.
Okay, now let's talk about mistake number 4, learning passively.
This one might surprise people because a lot of learners think, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm following English accounts, so I must be learning. But if you're only watching or listening and never speaking or writing, you're being passive.
Yeah, it's like watching someone else cook. You might understand the recipe, but unless you cook it yourself, you won't really learn how to do it.
Exactly. Passive input is good, but you need active output too. That means talking out loud, repeating phrases, writing sentences, even if it's just in a notebook or a voice memo.
Here's a simple trick. When you finish watching an English video, pause and ask yourself, can I explain what I just heard in my own words? If not, go back and try again. This makes your brain work, not just receive.
Another good one, repeat after the speaker. It helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Don't just watch, talk back.
So to recap, mistake 3 is inconsistency. People quit too early or study only when they feel motivated. The solution is to build a small daily habit.
Mistake 4 is passive learning. Watching and listening isn't enough. You need to speak and write to truly improve.
And here's the cool part. Once you build a small, consistent habit of active learning, you'll start to see real results, even faster than you expect.
But even with good habits and the right mindset, there's something else that can still slow you down.
Yes, the tools you use. Many learners use materials that are either too hard, too boring, or just not right for their level.
In the next part, we'll talk about how choosing the wrong tools can block your progress and what to use instead.
Stay tuned because the tools you pick could be the key to finally unlocking your fluency.
All right, let's move on to mistake number 5, using the wrong learning materials.
Ooh, this one is more common than people think. So many learners waste time using books, apps, or videos that just don't match their level or goals.
Yeah, I've seen students using advanced IELTS prep books when they still struggle with basic conversation. It's like trying to run a marathon before you can walk comfortably.
Exactly. And the opposite happens too. Some people stick with beginner materials for too long and they don't challenge themselves, so they stop improving.
So let's break it down. How do you know if a material is right for you?
First, ask yourself, can I understand at least 70% of this without a dictionary? If it's way too difficult, you'll get frustrated and give up. But if it's too easy, you won't grow.
Right, you want something that makes your brain work a little, but not too much. That sweet spot is called I+1 in language learning. What you already know, I, plus just a little new information, +1.
Also, the content needs to be interesting to you. If you're forcing yourself to read boring articles or watch grammar videos you hate, you won't stick with it.
Absolutely. Learning English doesn't mean you have to suffer. You can learn through music, TV shows, cooking videos, podcasts, whatever you actually enjoy.
One student of mine loved fashion, so we found English YouTube channels about fashion, and she started learning words she actually cared about. Suddenly, English became fun for her.
And here's another mistake. People rely too much on one type of resource, like they only use Duolingo or only watch Netflix. But language is a mix of skills: listening, speaking, reading, writing.
Yes, variety is key. Watch something, then write a summary. Listen to a podcast, then repeat out loud. Read an article, then talk about it with a friend. That's how you build real fluency.
Also, don't be afraid to let go of a tool if it's not helping anymore. Just because something worked before doesn't mean it still works now.
Great point. Language learning is personal. What works for your friend might not work for you. So be flexible, try different things, and most importantly, notice what actually helps you remember and use the language.
So to sum it up, mistake 5 is using the wrong materials. Things that are too hard, too boring, or not right for your learning style. The fix? Choose materials that are level appropriate, enjoyable, and help you practice different skills.
And remember, you don't need expensive courses or fancy books. There are amazing free resources out there. Just choose wisely and stay consistent.
All right, so now you've got the right tools, you've got good habits, but here's the question. Are you surrounding yourself with English every day? Because the next big mistake is this: not creating an English environment. Coming up in part 5, we'll talk about how to live inside English, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
And we'll give you practical tips to build that environment starting today. Stay tuned. So here we are. Mistake number 6, not creating an English environment.
This is a big one. A lot of learners think, I live in Vietnam, or I don't have any native English friends. So they believe they can't create an English environment. But that's not true at all.
Nope. In today's world, you can bring English into your life no matter where you live. You don't need to move to the UK or the US to start thinking and living in English.
Right. Your English environment just means how often are you hearing, seeing, and using English in your daily life.
If English is something you only touch once or twice a week in class, it's going to fade fast. But if it's part of your day, like music, social media, even your phone settings, your brain gets used to it.
Here's a simple start. Change your phone and apps to English. You already know how they work, so it's low pressure, but your brain starts picking up words naturally.
Yes, and also follow English content creators on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Even just short 30-second clips help you hear natural English daily.
Another trick, label things around your house. Put a sticky note that says mirror on your mirror or fridge on your fridge. It sounds silly, but it works. You see the words often and they stick.
One of my students even put Post-it notes on food in the kitchen: salt, rice, spoon, chili sauce. After 2 weeks, she remembered everything without trying.
And for listening, try replacing some of your music or YouTube time with English. If you love cooking videos, watch them in English. If you like crime stories, there are tons of English podcasts.
Don't forget talking to yourself. Seriously, it's one of the most powerful tools. Just describe what you're doing. I'm making tea. The water is hot. I need to find a spoon. That's real language in action.
Yes, I used to do that in Spanish. I'd walk around saying things like, I'm going to the market, or it's hot today. It sounds silly, but it made speaking easier later,
because I'd practiced saying those words already.
You can even create a mini English corner at home. Put a book, notebook, headphones there. That's your English zone. When you sit there, you train your brain. Now I'm in English mode.
So, again, mistake number 6 is not surrounding yourself with English. The fix? Bring English into your life in small, fun, and natural ways. Let it become part of your world, not just something you study.
And when you do that, something really cool happens. You stop translating everything in your head. You start thinking in English.
And that's when fluency starts to feel real. You're not just learning English, you're living it.
Now, even if you have the right habits, tools, and environment, there's one last mistake that holds people back: expecting too much too fast.
In our final part, we'll talk about mistake 7, unrealistic expectations, and how setting small, clear goals can actually help you reach fluency faster than trying to do everything at once.
Don't miss it, because this mindset shift might be the most powerful one yet.
All right, we've reached the final part of today's episode. Mistake number 7, unrealistic expectations.
Yes, this one doesn't seem like a big deal at first, but it's actually one of the biggest reasons people give up on learning English.
Definitely. Many learners start with huge goals like, I want to speak fluently in 3 months, or I need to sound like a native speaker by the end of the year.
And when they don't reach those goals quickly, they feel frustrated. They start thinking, maybe I'm not good at languages, or maybe I'm too old, and then they quit.
But the real problem isn't the person, it's the expectation. Language learning is a process. It takes time, repetition, and patience. There's no magic shortcut.
Right. And here's something most people don't realize. Even native speakers are still learning new words and expressions every day. Fluency isn't a finish line, it's a journey.
So what should learners do instead? The key is to set small, achievable goals. Goals that focus on progress, not perfection. For example, I will speak English for 5 minutes every day. I will learn 3 new words and use them in a sentence. I will write 1 short paragraph each week.
Those are great examples. Small goals help you build momentum, and every time you succeed, you feel more confident, which motivates you to keep going.
Exactly. It's like building a wall, 1 brick at a time. Each small success is a brick. Eventually, you look back and realize you've made real progress.
And another important point, celebrate your wins. Maybe you ordered coffee in English or understood a full YouTube video without subtitles. That's a win. Notice it. Be proud of it.
Yes, language learning is not just about reaching fluency. It's about communication, connection, and growth. Don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you were last month.
So, let's do a quick recap of the 7 common mistakes we've talked about in this episode.
Number 1, too much grammar, not enough speaking. Number 2, fear of making mistakes. Number 3, inconsistency, starting strong, then quitting. Number 4, passive learning, watching but not using. Number 5, using the wrong materials. Number 6, no English environment. Number 7, unrealistic expectations.
If you recognize yourself in any of these mistakes, don't worry, you're not alone. The good news is you can fix every one of them with small changes.
Start speaking, even if you make mistakes. Build a small daily habit. Use materials that you enjoy. And surround yourself with English as much as you can.
And most importantly, be patient and kind to yourself. You're learning a new language. That's an amazing thing. Give yourself time.
Every minute you spend with English is a step forward, so take it 1 day at a time, 1 word at a time. You've got this.
That's a wrap for today's episode of English with Tuna. We hope this helped you spot the common traps and avoid them in your own journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know, which mistake have you made before? Or what's helped you the most in your English journey?
We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new topic to help you learn, grow, and speak English with confidence.
Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, and remember, fluency is not a destination, it's a habit. Bye for now.